Hey guys, Tad Reida here with K-Drive Baseball coming to you from the Farm Sports. Want to answer a few of your questions for today. I'll just jump right in. The first question, and this is a pretty common question that I get, is should I go to X camp? For recruiting purposes than just the generic camp or getting better aspect is should I go to a certain college camp or a certain showcase? And again, this isn't really a one-size-fit-all answer, as you guys find out. It's very, very individualized towards each person. But my advice is always, my first question to the person when they say, this person or this coach wants me to come to camp, should I go? My first piece of advice or my first question is always, are you interested in that school? If you go to the camp and you spend $100 or $125 or $300 or whatever the number is, plus travel fee and all the other stuff to get there, my first question is, okay, let's say you perform really, really well, and the coach is very interested and he offers you. Is it a school that you would commit to on the spot or within a day or two? Like, do you know you want to go there? If the answer is no, then no, it's probably not a camp to go to. College camps are great if you're interested in that school. When I was at West Virginia, we would absolutely recruit from that camp. I mean, I would say maybe 1 or 2 kids a year would be from camps, and a lot of times we would have self-identified them before they ever got there, and we would have invited them and talked to them. Very rarely did a random kid just show up at camp that we didn't know about that we liked. But colleges do use those camps, particularly smaller schools, small to mid-major Division I's, Division II, NAIA. And the reason why is strictly budget. Bigger schools can fly over the country. Money's not an issue for them recruiting-wise. Smaller schools really have to, pinch pennies and have to utilize all the resources they can to get players. And camps are a great one because the kids come to them, they get them on campus, and they see them. So the first question is always, are you extremely interested in that school? If the answer is no, then it's a clear no, don't go to. If the answer is yes, then you have to look at other factors, like, is that school a realistic option for you? Is that coach realistically interested in you? Because college camps are also a moneymaker for the colleges. It's how they fundraise. It's how they pay coaches. It's how they do all those different things. And so that invite is going out to a lot of people. So you really have to make sure that school actually has an interest and actually has a need in you as well. And I know with my players, I usually vet a lot of it. And again, I'm very honest with our guys when they come to me with camps and like, hey, is this a good fit for me? Usually I tell them, and I'm able to tell them from a skill standpoint, yes or no. That's a pretty easy answer. And then I usually guide them through the, are you interested in this school or are you not? You're just looking for an offer. And then we go from there because, too many coaches, and there's the programs even close to us, they help kids and they just sign kids at schools just to get them off the radar and say they're committed. I'm not like that. I want guys to find fits that are truly good for them and schools that are good for them, because I don't want them to transfer home after a semester or after a year because they hated the school. And so it's very important that the fit is right for the kid. So moving on from camps, we talk a little more about showcases because these are two different things. A college camp and a college showcase are typically two different things. A camp is a lot of times put on by the university or the college or the junior college or wherever. Showcases, when asked, are usually a little bit more broad, and showcases typically are put on by private businesses or private organizations, and they get 8 or 4 or 15 or 20 schools, however many schools they can get. It's a lot of schools coming to see players, and again, most of the time these are money makers. They are great ways to recruit players for coaches, but the coaches are getting paid to come. They're not coming most of the time out of goodwill. They're coming because they're getting paid, and they hope they can see a player too. And so for the showcases, a couple things to look out for. First, when you get invited to a showcase, know the time of year, know the NCAA rules. If you have an organization that's doing a showcase in a dead period and they're touting that Division I schools are going to be there, you really need to push back and question it, because obviously during dead periods, college coaches can't go out to showcases and they can't go off campus and all those things. So make sure that college coaches will actually be there when you go. Second, again, make sure that the coaches that are attending are at the skill level that you can play at. So, if you're going and there's a wide range of big Division I, mid-major, some Division II, junior colleges, that's a good camp to go to because there's a lot of eyes on you. And again, look at the schools and be honest that, am I interested in any of these schools or not? And if the answer is no, then don't go. If the answer is yes, and they fit within your where your talent lies, then it's a good fit. So it's always asking yourself those two questions. Do I like the schools? Am I able, talent-wise, to play at that level of school? And you can go and answer. Then from there you can go and answer the question whether you should go. Obviously, you can spend a lot of money on showcases and camps and that type of thing, and it can be just a money trap, or you can get an offer from it, and that's where advice from people that you trust really come into play because. Realistically, you don't need to go to all those camps and showcases to get an offer. You can be very individualized. You can be very targeted with your college search. Whoever your summer team coach is, if they have a wide network of coaches contact and people trust them, they can kind of send out emails before, build the trust with people, kind of introduce them, and then they can pass them off to where if the coach is actually interested now, he can get the player involved. Take that, for what it is. Obviously look at your resources and spend the money that you want to spend on this, but know that, there's a lot of opportunities out there to go to camps and showcases, and you really be smart about, where you're going. Because again, ultimately it comes down to, you have to be good enough. You can spend $1 million on going to showcases and camps and recruiting services and all that. And if you're not talented enough, and you're not good enough, it's a waste of money. Absolutely, it's a waste of money. So make sure that when you go to these things, that your skill level is there. And that's why I always say, if you're going to spend money on the development process until the tools reach a certain level. You got too many 8th graders and freshmen that all they're worried about is recruiting, and they're throwing 78 miles an hour off the mound, or they're throwing 74 because somebody told them they have to start the recruiting process now. And then they get all stressed, and the parents are stressed because they feel like they're late. You're not late. If you're an 8th grader, or you're a freshman, or you're a sophomore, you're not late. So relax. Even if you're a junior or senior, you're not late. Yes, there are different schools that stop recruiting at different points because they run out of money, but you're not late. Even if you're a senior and you're watching this, there's time for you, especially at the Division II, the junior college, the NAIA levels. They're just now starting with seniors. So don't stress about it. That's part of the whole pitch for some of these recruiting services. They use scare tactics to get you to sign up and pay because they make you feel like you are way behind the curve, and I can assure you, you are not. Go through the process. Understand that if you understand the process, you understand that you're not late, and you be a little bit more stress-free. I always tell my players, me personally, when they're working with me, that they will know when I'm starting to hit go mode and when I'm starting to stress a little bit about their college placement, because I start to pick up the tempo of everything that I'm doing. So when I'm getting like that, it's time for you to push go as well. Other than that, just follow the process, but don't stress about it. Develop, and then recruiting comes easily. I can assure you of that. Second thing I want to talk about, it's not really a question. Again, it's more just me kind of wanting to educate. I feel like 90 to 95% of athletes out there don't understand the amount of work that it's going to take to become a really good baseball player, especially at the Division I level and beyond. The amount of hours that it's going to take, especially for kids that are not just freak athletes. There are some freak athletes out there that it's easy for them, especially the running and the throwing. The hitting, not so much. There's not very many just straight raw hitters that just show up and can rake. But the amount of swings, the amount of weight sessions, the amount of throwing sessions, the amount of ground balls, I can't stress enough how many if you look at high-level Division I guys, you look at pro guys, the amount of work that those guys are putting in. Even guys at Division II, Division III, NAI, again, I'm not saying those guys don't work because they do, but just in general, if you want to be if you want to reach your full potential, the amount of work that it's going to take. And I tell my guys, minimum of 50,000 swings a year, minimum. If you look at it, if you kind of count backwards and you work back, it's about 1,000 swings a week. Obviously, the more the better to a certain extent. And when I say 50,000 swings, I mean 50,000 max effort like swings, not just tinkering and working. I mean actually working on bat speed, working on squaring balls up, working on barrel contact, all those different things. We like to tell our guys, especially as they get older, 7th, 8th, and beyond, 4 weight training sessions a week. That can be some speed in there. 4 heavy throwing sessions a week. Too many guys don't play enough catch. They want to go do plyo balls and they want to do all that, but you should be playing catch every day. You can long toss every day without really risking any injury to your arm. The injury risk comes when you're throwing off of a mound. But if your arm is healthy, you should be playing catch all the time, and your arm should actually feel better the more you play catch. Usually when guys are hurt or they're sore, it's because their arms are weak, they're imbalanced, or they're just out of shape. And so you really want to focus on that and play a lot of catch. The amount of ground balls an infielder should take, I tell my guys 20,000, 20,000 a year. That's about 400, I believe, 400 ground balls a week. And then there's other things that you can do, like throwing balls off the wall and doing hand drills and things like that don't take a lot of energy, but just a ton of reps. Baseball is such a high repetition sport that if you don't put in the number of hours, the number of reps, and the number of sessions day over day and kind of build that compounding interest, you're just not going to be able to make it. So, if you have that high level goal and you're not putting in those types of hours or those types of numbers, you're just fooling yourself. And when you get done, you're only going to have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, well, man, I really wish that I would have worked more. I saw Tad talk about that, but I wasn't willing to do it. And then if you're not willing to do it, then that's fine, but then don't get mad or upset when you don't reach your end goal. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in and watching this. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. We'll be back at it next week, so shoot us any emails with questions, info@cagerapbaseball.com. Shoot us a message on one of our social media sites, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you guys have. Again, I appreciate you and look forward to talking to you soon.